So, Stubbsy, I just want to say thank you for giving us some of your time just to come forward, just to tell us a little bit about your journey and what's happening with your trading. Obviously, something very exciting has happened over the last 2 months, so we'll get to that. But I just want to ask you just a quick question as we start. Just tell us a little bit for the audience to know about your trading journey before you joined RocksFX, what you was doing, how you was doing, and how you was managing your trading and everything that surrounds it.
I started off trading, not doing very well. Basically, I was jumping from course to course and system hopping and chasing money, blowing accounts. So it was really difficult for me at the start, but I knew it's something I wanted to pursue. So I just carried on.
Sure. So you was persistent. How long was you trading for before you joined us?
About 2 years on and off.
2 years, okay. And what was your results like? Were they consistent, inconsistent?
No, not consistent at all.
Okay, fine. And what would you say was your biggest struggles during that time?
Well, it's like the mental side of it. Like I
Yeah.
thought I'd never be able to do it. Yeah, it got me down a bit because I really wanted to carry on with it, but I didn't know how.
Sure. And could you just tell us, how did you find this emotionally? Because I remember speaking with you and you said that it kind of made you down at one point. What happened?
Well, I was just chasing money and wasn't enjoying my job. So I was trying to get out of my job, chasing money, and it sort of spiraled out of control. And I had to take a step back from trading for a bit to sort of think about how I was going to tackle the next stage. Yeah, that's what happened.
Sure. How long did you take away from trading in the beginning then?
About 6 months.
6 months. And during that time, did you find it hard to stay away? Did you completely abstain from trading or did you do any study and research?
I completely stayed away from trading, but I carried on following people on Instagram and that and seeing how they're doing, stuff like that.
Sure,
So
fine.
you're away from trading, but I didn't trade. I didn't look at charts. So
Yeah, no, I understand completely. Okay, so let me ask you then, how did you actually find Rocks FX Academy in the beginning?
on Instagram,
On Instagram, okay. And what actually made you want to join?
I noticed straight away your transparency. There's no mention of money, watches, or cars. It's just all positive content that's helpful and useful to whoever wants to look at it. So I found that really impressive to start with. And yeah, like other people on Instagram, they don't just post trades today. They post watches, cars, money, and you don't do that here. So
Yeah, sure. So let me ask you, if you had enough of your job and, it was really getting to you and that's the reason why you escaped or you wanted to progress in your trading and become a better trader, wasn't the monetary factor important to you? I mean, was that your sole focus at that point in time when you just before you stopped trading?
yeah, so my time away from trading, I realised that it wasn't about the money that I wanted. It was about the freedom that comes with trading. Yeah, I want to live my life my way. I don't want to have to go to work for someone anymore. So that's what I worked out when I was away from trading.
Sure. And I think that's a massive, massive factor and something that obviously, as you know, we concentrate a lot in the community, focusing on the actual process itself as opposed to the monetary value. Because you find that as a trader, if you start to chase money, what you'll see to happen is that greed starts to kick in, anxiety, you put too much pressure on yourself, and eventually you end up losing unnecessary trades. I mean, would you find that was the same for yourself?
Yeah, it all becomes a bit of a spiral, doesn't it? When you're trying to chase the money, it's emotions come to it, and before you know it, you've blown another account and trying to save money up again to put into another account.
Yeah, sure. Okay, well, we'll get onto that in a little bit more. So, how long have you been here now?
4 months.
4 months. And what was your initial thoughts when you joined? Because obviously, it's a transition coming from trading on your own, being with signal providers. Oh, I don't think it was with signal providers, but just coming from a different world to being in a community with so many students and difference of opinions and a different mindset, etc., etc. How did you find it when you joined initially? Was it a bit daunting, or did you find that you settled in well?
Yeah, it was daunting because it's something new that I hadn't looked at before, really.
Yeah.
But my first thought was, wow, this is so simple. Like the content and the course and everything, just really super simple. Yeah, at first I couldn't get around not using indicators and all the other stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I went through the course and I enjoyed it. So yeah.
Very good. Okay. So you entered the academy obviously with some old habits and obviously a different mindset and a different outlook on the markets. When did you actually start to see a change in your trading and the way you see the markets?
Yeah, so after about a month of I did the course and then watching everyone in the community chatting away about certain trades and stuff, it took me a month to realise that this is it really. And I had a lot of rubbish in my head from before. So that month I had to get that out of my head basically. And yeah, I think I came to you and said, I'm not getting this. I need to re-watch the course. And you said, no, watch all the sim sessions on the drive.
Yeah.
I did that, and then it gave me trust in the strategy and your process.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was a massive turning point a month in.
Sure. So you went through the course, the training material, you understood the basics, you obviously had a foundation that you can work with, and you actually found that the simulation sessions themselves was what really helped you propel. I mean, obviously seeing how the strategy is implemented, taking, managing trades, etc., etc. Now, did you feel at that stage that it was helping you to progress, or did you still feel a bit confused at that point?
Yeah, I was still a bit confused, still trying to take it all in. There's a lot to take in. So
Yeah,
the one thing the community gave me was very positive, like place to be, and it gives you self-belief as well because everyone around you's very encouraging. And yeah, that's the most important thing in trading, isn't it? Self-belief, positivity. So
absolutely. And did you find that your emotions, you were able to manage your emotions and deal, see the markets with a different perspective once you had a systematic approach in place?
yeah, if you're following a plan and a strategy, you can put your emotions to the back and try and carry on. Obviously, they're never going to go away, are they? But
absolutely, yeah. And that's a very good point that you made. The emotions that you have as a full-time trader or as a trader period, should we say, they will never go. It's all about learning to manage them and control them. And the best way that you can do that, you probably agree, is by making sure that you have a plan, a systematic approach, and know how you're going to obviously execute a trade, manage a trade, etc., etc. Did you find that this was like a weight off your shoulder once you started doing that yourself?
yeah, it taught me that losses are all part of it. And carry on. Like if you get a loss, don't stay up all night thinking about it. Just wake up the next day and do the same again. And more times than not, your trade's going to hit take profit, isn't it? Following this. So
absolutely. I mean, if you follow the process and you do it over and over again over a period of time, you'll find that obviously the results will fall in line with the back testing that you've done and the positive results that that strategy offers. So after a month of being here, going through the course, going through the simulation sessions, you realize that obviously a strategy is important. Everybody knows that. What was your biggest takeaway from the actual community? I know you've mentioned and touched on it briefly. The members within the community were very positive and focused, and everybody was on the same page or thereabouts, working in the same direction. But what was the biggest thing within the community that helped and supported you regarding like your emotional well-being, your psychology, your focus, etc., etc.?
another big thing in the community is your daily live sessions. They've helped me massively. So basically, you sit there drilling the strategy and mindset into us over and over again, which I really enjoy. And if someone repetitively tells you how to do something and how you should be thinking about it, then in the end, you're going to get it.
Yeah.
And that's what's made me get it. You because I come forward and talk most days, and
Yeah.
it's just, you tell it how it is, and it goes in, doesn't it? If you say it enough times to someone.
Yeah, absolutely. And I find that your participation within the community, you're very, very active. And as you said, being active within the community is something that's going to help you grow. You're always answering questions, asking questions, answering questions, getting involved in the daily life simulation sessions. Could I ask, obviously I'm not a mentor or a trader that goes around showing money, cars, watches, this, that, and everything else. I'm all about the thought process and how to approach, execute, manage trades in that. Would you say that the thought process behind what you're learning has been a key attribute to you eventually becoming a consistent trader?
Yeah, it's all in the head, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's the point. It's all in the head. Okay. Yeah, so you're right, Subsy, and that's a key factor. It really is all in your head. So just a final question on that matter before we move into something really exciting and fun. I mean, obviously hearing your story has been really motivating. What was the turning point for you? If you could just tell us, because we had a private conversation, and I hope you don't mind me mentioning it, but you said you went through a stage of feeling depressed. Something happened at work and you just really wasn't happy being there. We'll get onto that, but what was the turning point for you in terms of feeling really down, quitting trading for 6 months, and then coming back, obviously joining the RocksFX community to where you are at this point before we move on to the really exciting part?
It was basically realizing that it's not about the money, and that I just want to have more time for what I want to do, and to spend with my family, things like that. So it's down to it's time, not money.
Yeah, and that's a very, very good point. Your biggest why factor was your family and time, and being able to have that time to do the thing you want to do, as opposed to the monetary value. Now, obviously, things are not going to be easy if you're making sacrifices and having to let go of a full-time job to full-time trade. It could be very nerve-wracking. Do you think sometimes if you're in a position to take that leap to do it, that it's worth the try in terms of trusting yourself and your abilities to be a full-time trader?
Yeah, that's probably the hardest thing for most people, isn't it? Just got to do it.
You got to do it. Yeah,
One head first.
Exactly. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, there's always another job you can go back to, I guess. So, Stubbsy, tell me the most exciting part now. 2 months ago, you applied for the Funded Traders Challenge. Could you just tell us a little bit more about it? What led you to this? What were the requirements? Was you feeling confident, nervous, excited? And what kind of plan did you have? If you tell us from the start up until day one, really.
Okay. So I saw about the challenge online. That planted seed in my head that this was a chance to become a full-time trader. If I put my mind to it. It always held me back, thinking, I'm never going to have enough money to trade full-time.
Yeah.
So this was a way of doing it. Also, I wasn't really enjoying my 9-to-5 job as a carpenter.
Yeah.
Van kept getting broken into, my tools kept getting stolen, and I just didn't want to do it anymore. This was a way out.
So the Funded Traders Challenge, they basically offer you an opportunity to trade for them. Trade and meet some requirements, and then of course, as the name states, they will fund your account. We're not going to talk about how much yet, but that was the basic consensus of what they done. Basically, help retail traders to become full-time traders and have a larger account than they could afford otherwise.
Yeah, that's it. So yeah, they'd fund an account for you.
Basically, in short, yeah. Okay. So what was the requirements of this challenge? It was obviously a 2-month challenge. The requirements, were they strict? Were they lenient? Were they realistic?
The requirements are strict, but they're realistic. So it's over 2 months. The first month you have to make 10% profit. You can't go below 10% drawdown. You need to trade 10 days in the month, with half of these days being positive.
Okay, fine. So with regards to the 10% drawdown, how did you find approaching trading in that month? Because obviously that would require really stringent and really tight risk management. How did you find dealing with that, and what kind of plans did you have to make sure that was...
So my plan going into the challenge was to risk 1% per trade.
Yep.
If I lost the trade, I'd shut my laptop for the day.
Yeah.
If I won a trade, I'd shut my laptop for the day.
Perfect.
I needed to get my trades to break even as soon as possible. So, like at 1-to-1 risk to reward,
Yep.
they'd be at break even. By doing this, my losses wouldn't spiral out of control.
So you had it under control, basically. And was you feeling confident? Was you feeling nervous? I mean, obviously, you've only been in the community for 2 months now. We learned a new strategy, a whole new risk management approach. Yeah, I mean, how did you feel?
I felt confident because the month before, since I'd had the turning point with your strategy, it was a positive month.
Yeah.
So I felt confident I could do it.
Perfect. Okay. So you started the challenge. It's day one now. Give us a brief rundown. You know, you're starting a massive, massive life-changing challenge that will possibly just change absolutely everything for you and your future. Obviously, the emotions are high. You must be feeling nervous and anxious. You know, was it plain sailing on the first day? Did you win? Did you lose? What was happening?
So I started feeling positive. I was excited. This was like a new part of my life that I was just starting that day.
Mm-hmm.
And my first trade actually hit take profit.
Wow.
So I shut my laptop, went about my day, did something, I can't remember what. In bed that night, I still felt like a bit of self-doubt.
Yeah.
Maybe it was just luck. Maybe the next, like, I don't know, really. Weird.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot riding on it, clearly. And, you know, the anticipation of what's going to happen tomorrow and the next day and in 10 days can obviously cause a lot of anxiety and make you feel very doubtful. Now, you obviously won your first trade or the first day. You stuck to your plan. You shut your screen down. Moving forward for the next week, 2 weeks or so, what obstacles did you find that you were facing?
Yeah, so it was going quite well. And then in week 3, I had 3 losing trades in a row.
So that was that would have been minus about 3% for that.
Minus 3%, yeah, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I found it in myself to shut my laptop as hard as it was, especially on the third day.
Yeah.
I had to shut my laptop after that trade lost.
Yeah.
And that night, I went to bed very worried that I'd lose the next day as well.
Yeah.
But by the end of the week, I was 2% up. So
very good. So you clearly obviously
laptop, not letting the losses spiral.
Yep.
Saved me from blowing the account probably.
And the old you, what would you have done in a situation like that? Would you have probably revenge trade, tried to get your money back? What would you have done?
Yeah, definitely. I'd have tried to get the money back each day.
Each day, yeah.
Not about that, is it? It's about the end of the week and the month. So that's
yes.
So let's envision this on the third week in your first month. You've taken 3 trades, 3 consecutive days, and all have been losses. There's so much riding on this for you to potentially become a full-time trader. I mean, I know you're already a full-time trader, but I mean like a full-time trader where you don't have to necessarily worry about what account size you have, your finances, X, Y, and Z, just the fact that you can continue doing what you do best, which is trade consistently. But each time you took a loss, you closed the screen down, which was part of your plan, and you walked away. Day 1 is fine. Day 2, you can accept it, but still feeling a bit anxious. Day 3 probably would send most people over the edge. But what you stuck to was closing the laptop screen down, coming back the next day, and just rinse and repeating the same thing that you've been doing for the last 2-3 months or so. Is that correct?
That's it. That's correct.
Very good. So month 1 is complete. Tell us, did you hit your targets?
Yes, I did, yeah.
Very good. Okay, so you've met your targets. Is it all over now? Do you get your funded account?
No, it's another month of exactly.
Okay, so you got another whole month, and you got to reach 10% again?
The next month is 5%.
So a lot less then?
Yeah, but for some reason I lowered my risk, which in hindsight I shouldn't have done.
Right, so lowering your risk by how much?
Almost half.
So technically you're going for 10% again?
Yeah.
So what made you go for that? I mean, if you only had 5% to go, you've had a great month. You saw that you could do it. Technically, you only needed a trade and a half before you hit your target.
Okay.
I was just being overcautious.
Overcautious. Okay, well, we'll find out what happened then with that. So the requirements were that you hit 5%. Was there any other requirements that were different to the previous month?
No, that was it.
Okay, that's fine. And do you feel like going into the second month that you were able to hit those targets as long as you continued with the same approach that you did in the first, or did you still feel as anxious as you did the first?
I didn't feel as anxious.
You
I
did.
I didn't, no.
Oh,
I knew that if I carried on the way I was doing it, that I'd be able to do it.
fine. Okay.
Still
So,
hard at times.
What was that?
It was still hard at times, but
Okay. Yeah. So you obviously clearly manage your risk management, your emotions, you're in control with how you approach the markets when you took losses, when you took wins and break evens and that. Was you winning every single day?
no, I wasn't winning every day. No, nowhere near.
Nowhere near. Well, I mean, obviously that was the first month. We had 3 losing trades in a row. What happened in the second month?
The second month, I was really close to the target,
yeah.
and I got 4 break-even trades in a row, which was probably worse mentally than those 3 losing days.
Yeah. I mean, when you're in a position like that and you're that close to your target, all you think to yourself in your head when you're taking a break-even trade is, if I just had won one of these break-even trades, I would have hit my target, right?
I was 1% away.
Wow, 1% away. So obviously those break-even trades probably would have knocked you back a little bit. Or did you have something in place to make sure that those break-even trades weren't losses? Because I think you said to me that you had to make sure that you didn't take, or you had to have a 50% win ratio over the period of the second month.
Yeah, that was it.
So, yeah, go on.
So I'd leave the trade slightly in profit by about $10. So if I had a break-even day, that counts towards the positive days.
Very clever. Very, very clever. So that wouldn't have affected your win-loss ratio, your loss ratio, sorry, for that month. It would have actually gone towards your wins, right?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
So in your first month, sorry, I should have asked this a minute ago. What was your win percent? Do you remember?
60%, I think.
60%. And what was your risk-reward ratio, profit factor around? 1 to 1, 1 to 2, 1 to 3?
1 to 3.
Always.
No, sorry, it was 40% the win rate.
Right.
I had 60% positive days.
That's so clever, man. I bet they can't believe it, to be honest with you. So the 40% win rate with a 1 to 3 risk reward ratio is what gave you your profits, basically. And it just goes to show the power of using risk to reward ratio. The need to be a 50, 60, 70, 80% win rate trader is totally not necessary. As long as you're managing your risk, as you did, with 60% of your days being profits, 40% of them being wins, as long as you're managing everything in a positive way, you're going to make money. You just obviously have to trust the process and trade long enough for those results to come back to you. We've asked about your consecutive losses. Did you feel like giving up at any point? Your consecutive losses and break-evens. Did you feel like giving up at any point?
No, never.
Mhm.
Never. If I gave up, I'd have to go back to work on Monday. So I couldn't do it.
Yeah, so that was more important to you, just to have it in your head and clearly visualize that if you don't focus now and do what you know you should be doing, that potentially you're going to be going backwards and stepping back into a 9 to 5, which is something that you clearly didn't want.
Yeah.
Fine. And what kept you focused? I mean, I know you've touched on it, wanting to be a full-time trader so you have more time to yourself. When you're taking those break-even trades, you can then slip into the mindset of, you know what, maybe this is not for me. Maybe I'm not good enough. You know, I don't want to go back to my 9 to 5. What kept you focused? Because it was only you that was doing the trading, only you that was managing yourself. Did you have an escapism? Was you doing any yoga, meditating? What was it that was taking you away from the laptops when you know you shouldn't have been there, basically?
Yeah, so when I needed to shut my laptop and not trade, I took up fishing basically this summer. So I could get away. on my laptop, and it was impossible for me to put another trade on. So I'd go out and do that.
So you replaced what could have been an addiction with an enjoyable hobby,
Yeah, exactly.
such as
Yeah,
fishing, and something as simple as that really helped you to stay focused and to be able to walk away from those hard moments when trading.
yeah. Go and do something you enjoy.
Yeah, very good. Okay, so the 2 months are almost over. You know, you've taken 4 consecutive break-even trades. You take your final couple trades. Did you hit your target?
Yes, I did. Yeah, finally.
Very good. So this is 2 months of consistency, 2 months of focus, 2 months of discipline, 2 months of hard work and graft. What was your reward from this challenge?
So by following my rules, managing my risk, and meeting all of the requirements set, I've been given a $100,000 account to manage.
Wow. So let's just make this clear. This is not a $1,000 account. This is a $100,000 trading account, a real live trading account that is yours to trade.
Yeah.
Very good. I mean, how does that feel? What is this doing for you? Because this is clearly every trader's dream, and you've basically made your dream come true. How does it feel?
Yeah. This feels amazing. I can't believe I've done it.
I mean, I can believe you've done it. I've seen how hard you've been working. So from the Stubbsy that we knew a few years back, trading on his own, to taking 6 months off, to feeling down and depressed, to join the Narux FX Academy, to learning a whole new approach, strategy, everything else, to then going from 2 months, from 2 months on a demo account to now trading your own personal $100,000 trading account. Absolutely amazing, Stubbsy, and we wish you all the best. Just one final question before we wrap this up, because you've got many great things coming to you and you surely deserve them. What was the penny dropping moment in this whole journey for you?
The penny dropping moment was I was up at 2 a.m. in the morning back testing, and I noticed the double top of the lower high on the 4-hour chart. That was it.
Yeah,
let's
not give away our secrets, but I know what you're talking about. Fine. So basically, long and short of this is you were up early, you went to bed at a reasonable time to get enough rest, but you put in the work, the time and the commitment to figure out what was working for you. Once you found it, you honed in on it and you made it happen.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay. Very good, Stubbsy. So I just want to say to everybody, and to Stubbsy, obviously, thank you for coming to do the interview and for sharing your story with us. Very motivating, Stubbsy. And I just want to say to everybody else that's going to watch this and is watching this right now, there is no excuse for where you're at in your trading. As Stubbsy has clearly highlighted, this is about trusting the process and making what works for you work. Doesn't matter if you're trading $100, £200, 500, 10,000K account, whatever it is you have, learn to utilize those resources to best suit you. Learn to trade in a systematic way, and trust me, when the time is right, an investor will invest in you if you can show the results that you're deserving of receiving that reward. Doesn't matter if your account's small, in your financial situation where it doesn't give you the opportunity to put that much money in your account. If you can trade even $100, $500 accounts systematically in a clear, concise way, there will be someone that will invest in you. So stay focused on the process, understand and refine what you're doing, and I promise you, you will be in a situation one day, just like Stubbsy is now, where you could be trading your 100K account. Again, Stubbsy, thank you. Take care, my brother.
That's all right. Thank you, mate.
All right.
Couldn't have done it without you.